Hello and welcome to Tiny Desk Knitting with Emma. Today I'm going to be talking about my obsession with the color teal. I love teal. I've always loved the color teal. I would consider teal to be like turquoise, but okay, turquoise is more blue than green. Teal is more green than blue. I've always loved teal. Always. But a few years ago, I think it was 2018 when I got these, I needed a new pair of glasses. I usually wear contacts, but this was some years ago. I was in graduate school. I wasn't married to the idea of wearing contacts every day. It didn't matter. Everyone in graduate school needs glasses. Everyone in a PhD program needs glasses because they read all the time. That's not really true, but it's a lot of people wear glasses or contacts. So everyone's wearing glasses. It's not a big deal. But I wanted a new pair. I wanted them to be cool. So my mom and I went down to this store called Eyes of the World, which is in Burlington, Vermont. And it is the coolest glasses store in the world. Eyes of the World. Eyes of the World. Yeah, that's what it's called. It's down on the waterfront. It's awesome. They have tons of cool glasses, lots of plastic, lots of wire, lots of options, lots of shapes. Lots of European glasses like that you wouldn't find in normal places. It's extremely curated. And there was a brand they had that I liked the look of called Bellinger, which is a Danish brand. And I've tried on a lot of pairs of Bellinger glasses and a lot of them look good. I also have a pretty narrow face, so I often need to get glasses just often look too big. And if they come in multiple sizes, that's good because then they can be smaller. I used to always have Kate Spade glasses, because Kate Spade makes glasses for people with narrower faces. Like they're just narrower glasses. So your face doesn't look like you're wearing enormous glasses. But this one day, so I'd picked out this pair. They were red. They were really cool. My mom actually got the same ones in black. And we were trying them on. We both really liked this one set. They were kind of like rectangular frames. And then on the way out, she had actually ordered hers. I had not ordered my glasses yet because my eye appointment wasn't until the next day. And so I was going to go back the next day and order the glasses after I had my prescription renewed. So on the way out of the store, my eye went towards some glitter. And I was like, oh my God. It just was like a magpie. Like I just grabbed it and I put it on. And it was this bright teal pair of glasses that were glittery, and I of course I bought them. I was not expecting them to look good at all. You can see there's like actual pieces of glitter in these glasses. Focus. Yeah, like they're so sparkly. And then there's this kind of like weird tortoiseshell thing on the top. That's fine. I find that an interesting add-on. But I did not think these would look good on my face. I just put them on because I was like, oh, those are glittery. And I turned around and my mom was like, oh, you should get those. And the guy was like, wow, we've had those and no one's ever bought them. And that's a surprise that you actually like them, but I think they look good. And they didn't think that I was actually going to end up picking these, but I went in the next day and I was like, I will take those. And he was like, wow, are you serious? And they also had these in gold. I think they were kind of bigger. They were like more like cat eye. It's like, I don't want gold. I want the teal ones. And I wore these every day for like 2.5 years. Almost every day, except for if I'm going like on a hike or something and I want to wear contacts. And then in this past December, I got contacts again because COVID and kids. I didn't want the kids to break these because I was like, what if I can't get another pair? And they are also like magpies and liked glitter. So I got contacts and stopped wearing them. And the kids were fascinated at how different I looked. I do look really different with these and without them. They're so teal. But they were like a huge part of my personality. My curly hair and my teal glasses were the two biggest visual aspects of the way that I expressed my personality in graduate school. And the fact that I was knitting all the time. But that was sort of besides the point. Okay, so I love teal. So I'm going to show you some things that I've made that are teal because I love them. And this is a celebration of the color teal. So we will start small with some socks. Both of these socks were knit with yarn from the Farmer's Daughters Fibers Sock Club. This is a yak sock and this one is 75/25. So this is the Bluebird Cafe socks from this Handmade Life, which is a Miss Marple sock pattern. I did do these top down and not bottom up, or toe up, as she wrote them for toe up, but it doesn't matter. Did an Eye of Partridge heel there, little heel flap and gusset. Eye of Partridge heel is very visually pleasing. It's when you alternate which stitches you slip and which stitches you knit. Every other knit round, or knit across row of the heel, so that you get this kind of pebbled thing. 2x2 rib, 15 row round cuff, 60 stitches or 60 rounds in the leg, and then I knit the foot to my size, which is a 7.5 women's. Don't know how many, not gonna count them on camera. This came with like a copper mini. I showed them in my the copper mini I ended up using in my very first pair of Fix-Giving DK socks as the heels, toes, and cups. I like it, but it didn't, to me, work with this. This is the other pair, also Farmer's Daughters. It's got kind of a teal little fun in the cuff, or in the mini. This was the April colorway. This was called Lone Larch. So there's not a whole lot of teal in a little bit of some neon teal flecks in the main yarn. These are the Altitude socks by Helen Stewart from the Handmade Sock Society season 3. One thing about these was that I thought I had lost the mini. I lost this teal mini, and I was gonna have to like do the second sock in a different teal color. Like I had enough to do, I think, the Altitude stripes on the second sock from like something that I had ripped out. I don't know, I still had some, and then I was just gonna do the toes and the heels in a different, but then I found it was under my bed. What a saga. It was very dramatic. I thought I had just like lost it. I have like done that one time. A sock bag I was working on, like the bag, it was in a zipper pouch. It fell out of my backpack on the street. Of course, it didn't have my name in it, and I never got it back, which was really sad. So I lost a pair of sock needles and some socks in progress that day, which was sad. But these are cute. They have a little, the little mountains pattern. It's just like the pattern you would see on a Selbu lace cuff of a Selbu mitten with a lace cuff. It's the same type of thing. You're making stitches and decreasing stitches along the same axis. You can sometimes you actually do it with yarn overs if you want it to be like really lacy. Sometimes you can just do it. These are not yarn overs, those are just M1s. They're just, you get little holes. Anyway, twisted rib cuff, 15 rounds, regular slip stitch, heel flap and gusset. This is an easy pattern. I did a little bit of 1 1 1 1 and then all the way down the toe here, just for fun. This is more, I don't know, this is like a light teal. Maybe this is even a turquoise, but I like it. Anyway, I just grabbed all the teal things I could find in my bedroom, and I was like, I'll talk about all those. So I do love the yak sock and the teal. I think it really works well over the brown, because the yak base is like a light brown, and you have to over dye that brown. Like with Rama Fennel garn, if you get those beautiful heathered colors, that's dyed on gray. Some people don't know that. Rama Fennel garn is great, not for socks. You should get Gammelzeri if you want to make socks, because the twist is higher, although generally like a Selbu sock would be okay, but that's a woolen spun yarn, so you do want to stay away from that. Today I'm wearing my Porty pullover by Gudrun Johnston. I love this sweater. There's no teal in it, just blue and green. Okay, should we do the yoke sweaters first? No, I'm gonna do this one first. Okay, this is a pattern I've made 3 times. It's called City Limits by Tanis Gray of Tanis Fiber Arts. And she did hers, and it's fingering singles and mohair. You hold the fingering yarn double, and then you also hold it with mohair, optional. And you use a 5 skein fade, or sometimes people use 6 depending on their size. And you're holding, so you label it A, B, C, D, and E. So you do A plus A for some number of rows, A plus B, B plus B, B plus C, C plus C, C plus D, D plus D, D plus E, E plus E, and then you finish. And so there's math involved. You have to decide how many rounds of each to do to get the length of the sweater that you want and whatever. And then when you're working on the body, it's actually really important to weigh out your yarn and figure out how much you're gonna need for each sleeve based on the number of stitches in each sleeve and in the body, and you divide everything into like 1,000 little balls of yarn. That's really precise, has really precise measurements if you want them to be the same. Luckily, because it's a fade, it's okay if they're not exactly the same. So the very first time I made this, it was with my own hand-dyed fade. This is my own hand-dyed yarn. I hand-dyed this fade. This was the first fade I made in like a light tealy turquoise kind of color. You can see that there's flecks of the darker teal in this light colored teal yarn. I did that on purpose. Thought it would kind of tie it in. You can start to see the incorporation of the fade here. I used a light colored mohair throughout. I didn't change to a darker color. I really maybe used only 2 skeins of mohair for this. The gauge is like 18 stitches over 4 inches, so you can definitely get away with, that's the knit side. The knit side, the fade is like, I think the lines are more obvious, but she wears a purl side out. The other 2 I made them to be worn knit side out, but one of them was a shop sample and then one of them was for a friend. One of them was like totally scrappy. It was crazy. I liked it. It was fun. And the first time I made it, I didn't follow the Tanis Fiber Arts pattern. I just did like the Cozy Classic raglan because I didn't want to do an added neckline. And I didn't want to do purl side increases on the raglans. But you know what? No one can tell. The increases are perfectly fine, especially on the purl side. They don't really lean any which way. They've got these fun knit seams and they continue all the way down the side. You could probably do that down the sleeve too. There's I-cord finishing for everything. So I-cord bind off here, you pick up the neckline and do an I-cord bind off there. You do I-cord bind off on the sleeves. It's very polished. And yeah, again, I woven the ends on the knit side so that I would be wearing it purl side out. It's super warm, very thick, very cozy. Mohair is great. I've said this before and I'll say it again, and I'm saying it now. Mohair works great with fingering singles because it makes it way stronger for a sweater. Makes it less likely to stretch out of shape and it won't pill. I've never had a mohair sweater that had pilling. It's because it has the mohair halo, it doesn't pill. And yeah, it's because of the strength in mohair and silk, it really adds shape and longevity to your piece that you're making with fingering singles, which have very little longevity. They pill a lot. They will stretch way out of shape, etc. So pairing mohair with fingering singles is a great idea. This is 2 fingering singles held double plus mohair. This is teal. This is the first fade I made. And then I sold my fades at Must Love Yarn. I think they only have 1 left. They have a purple one left. And they have my pink sample that I made. My City Limits fade. And the pink is kind of like a pinky purpley mauve. Yeah, you can really, I love this. And I saved 1 fade for myself to make myself this teal sweater because I thought that it would go. Look at that match on that. Looks great. Yeah, I purposefully have a lot of teal in my wardrobe that I wear when I'm wearing my glasses. Kind of back to wearing my glasses again because I'm gonna run out of contacts and hopefully I'll have a job with health insurance and vision insurance by January 1st, which is when I would run out of contacts-ish, the end of December. I don't know, around January 1st I'll run out. So I need to have a few left just in case. So I'm trying to wear glasses more often. Okay, second sweater you've already seen. I've shown it before at least once or twice. I think I've been wearing it. This is the teal that I dyed. Really specifically this was to go with my glasses. Dyed the dark teal because I fell in love with Madeline Tosh Sport, and well, Madeline Tosh Colors Nassau. It's called Nassau Blue, which is very deep, kind of bluey green. It's supposed to look like the Caribbean water. I've never been to the Caribbean, so someone can tell me in the comments if it really does. I saw someone knitting with it at a knit night. I don't think that the amazing depth of the blue, the turquoise kind of tealy is coming through, and how variegated it is. There we go. Anyway, I saw someone knitting with this at a knit night. She was knitting with fingering singles in Nassau Blue and Cousteau. Maybe it was Blue Stowe. Those are both Madeline Tosh colors. And I was like, what color is that? I need to know. And I was fixated on it for a while. So I bought it. And then I was like, okay, it's a sport. I decided to do this pattern and to dye this kind of dark teal as the background. And again, this is plied. I've talked about this before. Because it's plied, it doesn't stretch out of shape. It pilled a little bit, but I haven't really had to deal with a lot of pilling on this sweater. This sweater is New Leaf by Jennifer Steingass. Yeah, in a dark teal that I dyed, and Nassau Blue by Madeline Tosh and Tosh Sport. Tosh Sport is great. It's super wash, but it's pretty sturdy. It's kind of like work sock. Work sock is like really sturdy because it's got a bunch of nylon, super high yardage. Yeah, both good. They're both good. But that's more, work sock is more of a DK than a sport even. And there's like 150 grams in a skein or something. It's huge. Anyway, Madeline Tosh Sport, Nassau Blue. And there's some details on the sleeves too. I kind of like that. I don't always do that. She almost always has sleeve details. You can even do it on the bottom of the sweater if you want. She tends to just have them on the sleeves. They're not on every sweater, but anyway, I didn't do them on this one. I will explain why. This is my last one. This is a recent finish, recent FO. This is also Jennifer Steingass sweater. This is the Aurealis pattern by Jen Steingass. However, I did some edits. My primary edit is in the original pattern, there's these larger shapes. These are blank inside in the original pattern. I just thought that it looked bare. I was like, I'm gonna add some things. That did take some work. I had to change this thing where I had to change where the increases were. But like this one, for instance, has something, it has the same thing, and there's these shapes and there's something inside the shape, and that would look kind of blank if there was nothing in it. And I think their Aurealis sweater, whatever it's called, looks beautiful, but I was like, I need more, especially because I don't like long floats. That was kind of the main reason, is I didn't want the long floats. So this teal, also dyed by me. This is a real blue-green variegated skein. This was fingering singles. I just did one. I don't know why I did one. I had like a light kind of sage color in a fingering single, and then I had this, oh, it was Malabrigo teal feather. It was exactly the same color. It's somewhere, I still have it. I haven't used teal feather, but it's exactly the same color as my glasses. And I specifically got it after I got the glasses, and I was like, I'm gonna make something for myself that goes really well. I was gonna make like a love note with these three and do a fade, as you've seen my faded love note before. I had it on the channel. I haven't shown it finished. It's finished now. But yeah, so I just had one. And instead of doing that, because I think I used the teal, I might have used it in this fade. Anyway, I might have used both. I didn't use the Malabrigo in this fade. Anyway, but I considered it because it kind of went, but I was like, no, I'll use that for something special. But I don't know why, I saw it, I was making my sea glass tea. It's about a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, and I was like, I'm gonna pull that one. That beautiful variegated blue, green, teal, turquoise thing, and I'm gonna use it as the background color of this yoke sweater. And it's not like Spin Cycle because it doesn't change. My mom pointed out that the one that I made for her, which was another new leaf sweater, just like this, but I made it in white or kind of like a light fawn color, and then Spin Cycle and like Castaway or Deep Bump or something really similar to the original. That really is more variegated. My mom's like, wow, that looks just like mine. And it does. It's a Jennifer Steingass yoke in similar colors. So I used for the background color some DK weight yarn from Fairy Tale Farm in Vermont. I had used this yarn in something else, but it was too thin. It didn't go with Briggs & Little Heritage. This is like a DK weight, and Briggs & Little Heritage is like a thick Aran weight. Like you could use it as chunky or bulky. So didn't work. I ended up pulling most of that sweater out and then re-knitting it with Briggs & Little Heritage. It looks great now. It's a yoke sweater. What is it? It's one of the patterns from Strange Brew, and it's the one that goes like here, like really far down into the body, like you're knitting into the body past the yoke. I think it starts with it. Marshland. It's called Marshland. It was fun. It's great. It's like bright kind of reddish orange and like 2 purples and some gray, and then in the yoke, and then the body is white. And I was using this, didn't work out. The gauge wasn't the same, so I ripped it back, which meant that this was a frustrating sweater to knit because about half the yarn was being reknit, so it didn't look nice, especially in the sleeves. It just looked awful. It was not blocked. It was really like, what do you call it? It was like ramen noodles. It was like really wiggly, whereas some of it was perfect. So I did a lot of alternating of skeins because I actually had to get an extra skein. I wasn't sure because it's a natural white, but it was like sheep were gonna have been shorn in different years because I had bought the other yarn like a couple of years ago. And so I alternated skeins on the sleeves so that I would combat that, and it went fine, no problems. I mean, it still definitely looks a little bumpy, a little rustic after a block, but the gauge is all smoothed out and the yarn has bloomed. So yeah, this is nice. This one's not for me. This is a gift, but I really like this sweater. I think it's exactly what I wanted it to be. And I don't want to keep it because I have 1,000 million sweaters, but this sweater came out, again, it just came out exactly the way I wanted it to come out. I had to hold this fingering single double. I doubled up the yarn. That was not a problem. It looks really good, I think, with this natural, like really woolly kind of woolen spun wool in the white. It really shines. It's very smooth. It's shiny. It may pill, probably is already pilling, but it's just it's just in the color work. Plus it technically is plied because I'm holding a double, which makes it into a 2-ply yarn. So, and the gauge is like tight enough that each stitch is not loose. So it should be fine. I like it a lot. I think it came out well. This was my latest teal adventure. Yeah, those sleeves, they took a while to knit. I did the yoke really fast, and then I was like, the sleeves with that pre-knit yarn that I had torn out, the frogged yarn, it was just like, it was the worst. So yeah, that finally was finished though, and I'm very proud. This one got knit so fast. This was like a week. I've said this before, like when you're knitting with stripes, it goes really fast because you're like, oh, I just have this many to go until I get to the end of the stripe, or like, I'll just get to the end of the stripe, and then it's like color work. It's less difficult. I mean, less focus based, but you're still only using one yarn at once, so it's faster, but it's the same kind of like reason you're doing it and you keep doing it. It's like, I want to see what happens next. And you have like the desire to see what the pattern looks like when you continue and you do more stripes. When you're fading, it's really addicting. So yeah, this sweater went really fast, and it wasn't even cold out. It was like DC in May when I was making this sweater. It was hot. It was like hot. I was gonna say hotter than something, but then it wasn't gonna be appropriate. So you can fill that in, hotter than blank in Washington DC in May. And yeah, I was just like, I gotta finish that. It's so fun. But I was really pissed when I was finished because I was like, I can't put it on. It's 95 degrees, and humid AF, and I was annoyed. So, but now it's finally cold enough I could wear it the other day. I was so pleased. So pleased. So yeah, I got my teal sweaters. See, I just love teal. They all, yeah. I love them so much. My teal socks. Yeah. They're all different, there's different green contents, different tints, different shades, different amounts of black, different amounts of white, different amounts of variegation. This is one of the reasons color is so much fun, and I like playing with color so much. It's just like, the possibilities are so endless. They're so interesting. I gotta take Hobbs for a walk. He's gonna get annoying out there. Anyway, yeah, I think that's it for my love of teal. So thank you for listening to my long story about these glasses. I hope you, I don't know, there's not that much interesting in this episode except the fact that I love teal. I showed you a bunch of patterns, like 2 sock patterns and 3 sweaters. So that's what, yeah, I don't hope you really learned anything specific, but if you like those patterns, you can knit them. They're all really accessible. I would say good for beginner colorwork knitters. If you're gonna knit a colorwork sweater, you should knit like a hat first or something small, maybe several of them to practice. I practiced by knitting mitten after mitten after mitten. Oh my gosh, I knit so many colorwork mittens. I've talked about that in previous episodes. But yeah, that was kind of excuse me, I have the hiccups. That was kind of the way that I practiced my colorwork. Worsted weight mittens, gradually going down to fingering weight. And then, yeah, if you're comfortable with like, I don't know, slipperier yarn, it's hard to know what's the best. I would not use like a Shetland yarn first, because this will be really sticky. And it's just kind of like one extreme, whereas like a superwash, super smooth merino fingering single would be like the other extreme. So when I started, I definitely used the like Patton's worsted, like, you know, Cascade 220 kind of type of yarn, Barocco. Oh no, Barocco Ultra Wool is superwash. So yeah, not superwash treated. You can use Lamb's Pride. That's got a little mohair. It'll be kind of sticky. I think the very first time I did color work, I used Lamb's Pride worsted, which is 15% mohair and 85% wool, and it's a single spun. It's beautiful. Don't make socks. Make like, because it's a single, even though there's mohair. I made some slipper socks with it once, and that was fine, but like make a hat or something, and start with worsted weight to practice. And then like this isn't, but these sweaters, both of these sweaters, and the Porty cardigan pullover that I'm wearing, these are all seamless. They're all just color work yoke. You can do optional color work at the sleeves. Very minimal shaping. Looks like it has a hole. Oh, it's stretching. Yeah, that's the thing about superwash yarn though. It'll like stretch. I need to just take care of that sleeve issue before that breaks. But yeah, it's this good yarn to work with. This is a natural Vermont yarn. I love that. Came off sheep, really close to me. And this is also not a very difficult pattern, and it's fun to marl. You don't need to use mohair. Mohair is just like a fun thing that I added, and Tanis did put one in one of her samples is made in mohair. You could also do this in a worsted weight, and you can do a fade. You can just alternate skeins after a while. After you're getting to the end of one, you can alternate it with the next one. You can use, again, I used fingering singles for this, and it worked great. It's really fun. It's a good construction. It's not too hard. It's a raglan pullover, so, but with a few like little details, like you're obviously knitting this from the right side, and then you flip it. So you're doing these purl seams, kind of fake seams that turn into knit seams if you turn it inside out. Little details make it a little bit more, like a little bit less mindless to knit, which can sometimes help just with, you know, stockinette can get boring. So yeah, that's what I would say. So yeah, that's my obsession with teal summed up in 27 minutes and about 30 seconds. So thank you for watching. This has been Tiny Desk Knitting with Emma. Bye.